Between two of them.
Change shirts and hop off the truck.
I need a motion to go into a work session.
So moved, Chairman. Second.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
I have it. Ms. Ritter, you starting it off today?
I can.
Oh, I hear somebody holler, I want to make a motion.
I know Commissioner Martin had asked about doing a work session to talk about roads. I think to talk maybe about the roads list and how we rate different roads, and maybe looking at some different things there. I don't know what exactly he had in mind, but I asked him if there were specific things he wanted us to kind of research before we had the work session tonight, and he said just hold off and kind of see where the conversation led, and then we'd go from there. So, I think the road evaluation piece of it's been something that the board has talked about, and how we rate roads, and the possibility of getting all the roads in the county rated, rather than doing it just a little bit at a time. And so I don't know if that's something y'all want to talk about, or if you just want to hold off until he gets here, or if there are other topics y'all want to talk about. We, funding, or
We got two sitting at the table right there that doesn't.
Okay.
I just sent him a text.
Okay.
I just sent him a text. He hadn't responded yet.
Okay.
But
We got John's out there every day, and we got Tim also. What's y'all's thoughts on it?
I mean, there's some roads out there that, we got some off 57 that's got bad spots.
There he is.
here he is. Daylight.
I mean, Whitaker down L49.
Right.
That thing
There he
got
is.
some bad places on it. Fortville, Mollendore Road. It's bad from Altman all the way to Old James, really, through there, It wasn't nothing but chip seal put on it, I reckon, years ago.
I guess what I'm asking is not so much the road, but what do you think the right approach would be for these roads? You or Tim, either one. I just get y'all's opinion on, y'all know more better than we are.
The list that we had, I was hoping we was gonna get them done, and then we could start on the next list, I know Smith Road went terrible on us after they logged over there.
So, Chairman, when we say it went bad on us after we logged, this might be a question for Tiffany. Have we ever, do we go against any of the logging companies for damage to our roads?
Well, it's kinda hard to go against them if
Why do
something's
we-
already going on with the road.
Right.
Well,
if you-
there
yeah, if
should
you got-
be a before and after inspection. If we're bonding, if companies are bonded, and we're having to get a bond for work to be done so that they do travel that road, and then, I understand if the road's in bad shape, then, but if there's damage to it, obvious damage to it,
I think maybe what John was saying is if the road was substandard prior to the logging operation commencing, getting started, then
meaning we accepted a substandard road.
we have a substandard road, so if much over a school bus goes down it, it's gonna completely come apart. So how do you, I think it's hard to hold that person accountable.
Right.
So there's some serious base issues on that road. I know North Cross has a spot that it's near a historical house, midway through. It's on the northern side of the road, right at the white line. It's just, it needs to be sawed out, dug down, base repaired, and then, patched the proper way. But it's, and like you say, there's plenty of roads around the county that have I don't know the process when they were built, but the chip seal didn't help things over the years when you put down a quarter inch of material and call it a freshly paved road. It's just, the durability is never going to
Well,
be
they
there.
kept the dust down.
For a little while.
For a little while, but it's, long-term,
Right.
it didn't do the taxpayers any justice.
State didn't help us at all either, because they raised the weight limit. These guys permit up to, in the mid-90s, which is ludicrous for them, I'm saying.
Right, bridges aren't made to hold that.
But, and that's all I was trying to see, if there was had y'all any idea of proper procedure? I mean, do we need to go through a grading system, or, just get y'all's thoughts on it?
Let's talk about a grading system. When you talk about grading your road, that's a spectrum from here to here. You can spend $700-800 a mile grading your roads. When you get into a full pavement evaluation, you've got somebody going out there physically pulling the road every 1,000 feet, 2,000 feet. Bad areas, they'll do it. I mean, there's a lot of variety with that. Jason and I looked at a couple of different things. There's, Cobb County uses a specially equipped car. They ride all the roads, it photographs, videos it, that's how they do theirs. Different folks do different things, really. And a full grading on the roads, for the number of miles Jones County has, it probably takes 6 or 7 months to get somebody to come in and do it and do them all. I've seen it done one time. County commissioners looked at it, read through it, threw it in the trash.
Here?
It was another community.
Because
Because it
standard
didn't,
road.
it didn't,
And it costs how much to do that?
they spent close to $300,000, but it didn't. The
That was
roads
their first
that were
problem.
identified weren't the roads they were getting called on. They expected all these roads they were getting called on were gonna be at the top of the list, and not one of them was.
So road grading for dummies, do we have any industry standards that are, preferred or recommended? Because I think for us, we just wanna pave the worst roads first, repair the worst roads first, meaning, how do we know if this road has got some cracking or some heaving or whatever in it now, but it's got a good base, and it might just be historical knowledge without having to core it and without having to do all that, how do we know? Because, it doesn't look good on us for a road to go from number 12 to number 2 over a 6-month period or over a year's period. They're getting worse, so they gradually work their way to the top. But in my opinion, roads are long-term items, so if one is in bad shape, you ought to be able to give a year or two either way to do it. But if it's in bad shape and in the next year, it's a dangerous situation.
Well, do you have a little design manual I sent you email?
Which, the
That's
copy,
on-
which
on
one?
the asphalt. Roads are graded, DOT roads are graded basically in 3 sets. You've got county, city streets that are low volume, that are collectors, that are 1,000, 1,500 a day. The next levels, I think, is 3,000 to 8,000. Over that, it becomes a heavy-duty road. Well, a heavy-duty road is a foot of rock and 11.5 inches of asphalt. That's today's standards for a heavy-duty industrial type road. A collector street, a 1,500 average daily traffic collector street is either topsoil sand clay base, triple surface treatment, which is 3/4 inch, to maybe 6 inches of stone to 1.5 inches of 12.5 millimeter. The problem I think we run into is Morris Stevens Road, we build a road, there are 100 houses on it, heavy traffic school bus. we got logging trucks running up and down. And it's not designed for a 80,000, 100,000 pound log truck. And it is eats it alive. You know, and that's the, in other communities and different areas I see, that's the problem we run into. That's what we see. You build a road, thank you. You build a road for one specific kind of traffic, and that's not what you get. And you may get logging on it for 2-3 months. Low to medium volume is less than 2,000 vehicles a day. Medium to high is 2,000 up to 10,000, and over 10,000 is the heavy duty road.
And they have the specs for that road design?
Yeah.
Okay. So, kind of agreeing with Sam, you know, worst roads first, but I don't want to move in list, and we've had a moving list for a long time. And partly because we had some old roads, we had some new roads, and we probably didn't take a good account of those roads. Do I want to pay for a study I'm not excited about, especially if it costs $300,000? I'd rather spend that money fixing the roads. Do I trust our group to go out and do a good job? I think they can do as good a job as they can based on what we have. And then any support that we could provide, if it's, you know, the car that has that technology on it that can map the road and then kind of look at, I guess, sonographically what's under the road and how it looks, great. The other part is that we've been doing a lot of roads all over the county. I want to have a plan for how we do that and make it make sense, right? And then district-wide, too. You know, I remember a goal was to do like a mile per district each year. You guys used to do something like that. So that way, no district gets left behind, because what will happen, as in the case of some of these roads, they've been neglected for years, and now we really got to do it. And again, if you're pushing a mile a year, or you're, and I don't know what that equates to in LMIG at this point, considering what petroleum probably is right now. But anything outside of that, you know, we negotiate for those really long roads that, you know, if it's a Luke Smith and we really got to pave it from end to end, okay, this is that one road that we're going to do this year, and the next year we'll come back and pick up some of the smaller ones. But we need a system, because again, I don't like the moving roads list. I've seen some roads sit there for a long time, and I don't mind leapfrogging, especially if it's detrimental, but I want to do it right, so we're honest with our constituents about what we're doing.
I think we've made strides in not going with chip seal, not going with inferior roads, not going with, you know, and not just paving over something, not putting patches on stuff. I mean, I know we patch roads, but not just patching it to get through. Do it right or don't do it at all. I think that's a philosophy that we've kind of taken over the last several years, and I'm glad to see that. And you're right, where our LMIG money has remained the same, yet the price to do roads is risen and risen, so we're doing less and less roads. And it does compound the problem when we have a 3 mile long road, when we can only do 2 miles a year, you know, or average, and then we're having to push things back a couple of years, which makes them worse and worse. I'll go back to something, Tim, you were talking about. Do we know, have we ever had like average traffic counts per road? Do we know? I think if we visually check the road and said this one's got some cracking, even, you know, you got some pits in it or some potholes, and it's a arterial road, and it has less than 1,000 cars a day or 500 cars a day, and you got another one the exact same situation, and it's 3,000 cars a day, then we know this one's going to deteriorate quicker than this one. Do we factor any of that into the grading when we're looking at roads, or are we just riding the road? And I'm saying just riding the road because y'all got a lot more technology and experience and knowledge in how to do it. I ain't a road grader, that's for sure. But do we take all that into account, or we just look at it on face value and say this road's in pretty bad shape, this one's in kind of bad shape, this one looks pretty good, therefore it's a 1, 2, 3, or is it a 1, 2, 3, but this one has a lot more traffic and a lot more usage? So it's now a one, just two ones, no twos, and a three.
So the Pacer rating system that we've been using doesn't factor in traffic scores. Now we could, or traffic counts. We could, we could develop something that incorporated that. We do have some traffic counters, and frankly, I have not learned how to use them since I've been here. It's not easy to set up, or it's not simple, I guess, to set the whole thing up and the software and everything. But we do have 3 traffic counter units that were purchased somewhere way back. And there may be something better that's out there now. They've got some.
Cameras or they're laser?
They
No,
got
it's not the
like-
laser. It's got the hose kind of thing that comes out of them. Yeah. But yeah, I've seen some other communities that do factor in traffic counts when you're trying to determine, which ones to do, and that's probably something worth considering. I can pull up if y'all want to see the Pacer thing, how that all works. It gets to a 1 to 10 score
Yeah.
on each section of road. And there are different criteria based on the road surface material and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I agree with Daylon. I think we're doing a good job, and I think we got the expertise in-house to do it, for what we wanna do. I mean, I don't think we wanna nitpick whether it's 3/8 of an inch or, a half inch,
Mhm.
on the road that we're talking about. Is it need repaving or not? Is it a 1, 2, or 3? I mean, I would rather get to a 1, 2, 3 or 1 to 5 anyway, but I do think that we need to have some kind of game plan, some kind of map of the, so we can start seeing, okay, is District 2 got, a lot of roads that need to be paved, and District 1 don't have but 3, I mean, I've said before, I know I'm supposed to fight for District 1 first and foremost, but as a county, if you got more roads in District 2 or 3 or 4, then, they shouldn't just go there just because it's in that district. The biggest need needs to get the money. If they're all in another district, then that's justifiable. I mean, I'm willing to tell people, say, hey, my road needs to be, I'm willing to say, no, these 5 roads were in a lot worse shape than this one. It'll be paved when it's next on the list, not because it's in this district and I screamed louder.
Yeah,
One thing, I wanna go back to chip seal surface treatment is a very viable option on a road for longitudinal and transverse cracking. On a road that is cracked up, that is one of the best and cheapest ways to seal it. Because road fails typically for one reason, water gets to the base. It's not draining away from them, water gets to the base, then you get potholes and you get cracks. There are a lot of places we'll go in and we'll surface treat a road and pack it tight, get it tight, and then we overlay it, we level it. Because if we don't stop the transverse and longitudinal cracking in 2-3 years, it's gonna come right back through the asphalt. It doesn't matter if I put 4 inches on it, it's gonna come right all the way back through. Every crack you see on that bottom, it'll eventually make its way to the top.
But we were using chip seal as an asphalt, all the way down to the dirt.
It is still a recommended specification by the DOT, and a lot of people do. The chip sealing, surface treatment, chain gang paving, call it whatever you want to. It was really developed back in the 1910, 1920 as farm to market roads, to get farmers out of the mud and slop so they could carry their crops to town, to market, and get rid of them.
so maybe we might need that as a first application for some of those roads or some that are in really bad shape. And that saves us some money because it doesn't cost as much as full depth reclamation.
It's not, but again, typically one layer of it's a 1/4 inch thick, and all you're doing is trying to seal what you got.
Right.
How many chip sealed roads do we still have, John? Name some of them. Putting you on the spot there.
Morton Road,
Fortville, Milledgeville.
Sturb Road.
I don't think Morton is. I think Morton's,
We can
been
all name the ones
repaved.
in our
Morton,
district.
Morton
Yeah.
Road is, got asphalt on it.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
paved
it's
now.
asphalt.
Okay, it is now, okay.
Yeah.
I mean,
Is that Whitaker too, I think?
if you go over yonder and, off of Stagecoach, East Virginia,
Okay.
East Colonial.
East, I mean, all them roads over there, they chip seal
Okay.
around in there.
Yeah, the roads off of Smith, Haddock, or in
I
Haddock.
mean, you got,
Smith Road was chip seal.
yeah, I mean, heck,
Little
one of them
road.
was a dirt road. You know, and they come in there and graded it, and they put chip seal on it.
And that's where you get with Dayline back in the day, they used to do, each district could get a mile. And it could be just a dirt road, and they'd sit there and grade it, and I'm looking like right on, Humphrey Road, when you cross the railroad track, turn left. We used to live on that road, it was a dirt road, and they went in there and took the motor grader through it, put chip seal on it, and it's been there.
I mean, Wheeler Road,
That's the old sand clay base.
Wheeler Road between Highway 11 and,
Thousands of miles.
Green Sullivan, that's what it is. chip
It's,
seal.
that's chip seal
Yeah.
all the way?
It was
It's
chip-
held up pretty good.
Well, I
It's
think
chip
it was
over
chip
asphalt.
sealed on top of
asphalt.
some
On-
asphalt.
Okay, because it's held, I was gonna say if that held up good.
And so that's part of the process. If it had asphalt, we gotta seal it, right, with chip, then
Well,
come
if-
back with
if it's
asphalt.
cracked, I mean, if it's cracking, you got alligator cracking, or you got longitudinal cracking, or transverse going across, you need to seal it.
Mhm.
You need to seal it good and put it down, and then you got level on top of it, and then overlay it. A lot of folks don't like the level. A lot of folks wanna put 50 or 52 pounds a square yard of leveling. Minimum standard's 82. It's 3/4 of an inch. A lot of folks they wanna put as little as possible. But to get it to go down and stay down the way it needs to, you need to go back to the minimum standard, which is 3/4. I think it's 82.5 pounds.
So, we had one group that was talking with us, doing a seal. Is that Blunt? or-
Yeah, right.
Blunt. Their application pretty much just the top of existing road, or is that another option that we might wanna look at down the road as far as some of these sealing?
We looked at it and it was a certain type of coating that, it's almost like seal coating, but it was, it had some kind of waterproofing in it and it had like a 10-year warranty, against cracking, but the more I looked at it, what it didn't do, and that would be great on everything we're talking about would work for chip seal, it'd work for seal coating, it'd work for this Blunt application that we're talking about. But none of those three, to me, are gonna work on a road that's failing. If it
You
was
got
inferior road, whether
base
there's no
issue.
base to it, not enough rock on it, or cheap asphalt, or cheap chip seal down to dirt, if it's gonna break up, none of that sealant is gonna fix it. I think if it's either a solid road or a very low traveled road, chip seal would probably last 10, 15 years.
Bad thing about some of the roads, you know, talking about low travel, is, I mean, you got trash trucks and we got school buses,
Fire trucks.
yeah, fire
And
trucks.
unfortunately, a lot of them start out as low traveled roads and then
They get built
people
up.
put houses on them, started out as a road with 10 houses, now it's
Yeah.
got 75.
Right.
And you can't change the road as quick as you can build a house. But I do think we need to have some kind of guide, I think, a comprehensive road maintenance plan.
Sound good.
Yeah.
The,
CRM.
Question.
our current LMIG, you know, we've already went through the current LMIG, but we've still got enough on the LMIG list that we're pretty much gonna fill up next year, correct?
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's pretty much a,
I mean, if you wanted to do, let's see, we did Smith, what was the other one that was out in that area? There was gonna be 700.
You have
some odd
Davis.
thousand.
Davis is in terrible shape.
For reclamation, it was 750,000, I think, so that would eat up the whole thing, with just that one road.
I mean, we've kinda already surpassed the next LMIG session.
All right, okay, on Davis Road, would those areas on Davis Road that need it, would the chip sealing work on that?
No, you need reclamation.
Or it's gotta be all the way back down to the base?
I think it needs to be the reclamation done on it.
I got a question going back to the cracking. We were talking about putting the stone and the tar, sealing the cracks. DOT doesn't use that type of process because of the rock that gets kicked up, it sticks to your hood, it gets all over your vehicle, and we had a lot of issues with some of that product years ago on various roads. I won't call those by name because I still have some of that stuff on some of my equipment from getting it, from going down those roads. But what does DOT do to seal those cracks? They have a tar wagon, puts out the heavy, thick tar, goes down, seals the cracks, sheds the water. I'm not a fan of chip seal. I'll just go ahead and be upfront with everybody. I'm not a fan of it because I've heard a lot of complaints, and constituents in my district said that's the worst things that's ever been done to the roads in the county because of it.
At least they've got something done to
Right,
their
at least
road,
they,
okay.
right.
But
it's-
that might be the starter, right? If it's a
It's-
dirt road, we go chip seal, then we come back with the asphalt, and that begins our process.
But you gotta have a good gravel base down there.
Oh, well, yeah, I agree.
See, that was like Stewart Farm. And I don't know what happened over there with it. I mean, heck, you got log trucks over there right now. They hauling logs out of Stewart Farm now.
So if we put down chip seal first and then asphalt over the top of it, that's gonna hold up?
If you've got a dirt road and you need to grade it, we need to, most likely to put stone down for the base or soil cement. You don't wanna go too heavy on the soil cement, cause it gets so hard and brittle, it'll crack just like concrete. And then seal over the top of it. And if you got some dirt, that's what, if you go back with in what it's called a topsoil sand clay base, you go in and mix it and shape it up and crack it. And
Well, what we done over there is we put that plate dirt that we was getting, and then they paved over it.
On which road?
Huh?
On which road?
Stewart Farm and Friendship.
The current paving that's there right now? It's pretty darn good paving. I was on it the other day. I just wanted to go see how far it was.
But we can't get plate dirt no more, so. Plan B.
There's gotta be some more plate dirt areas
Well,
in the
most of
county.
the people that's got it, their land is up on that conservation, and
Can't touch
if
it.
they take it off, they gotta pay that penalized.
Well, I understand that part, but if we were buying dirt from the rock quarry or buying somebody's land for that purpose, I think we would have to factor that into the price. Because literally, I don't think rock is getting cheaper, right?
No, it's getting higher.
Exactly. So even if we went back to having our own pit, I think the savings over the long run, if it has what we need and it makes sense. I don't know how much we save out of the pit on Gray Highway.
That went on for about 10 years. I mean, that was, I imagine they saved quite a bit of money in them 10 years.
And there's two benefits. They get to sell their land or they get something really nice in the end.
But they were paying taxes on their land, right?
I don't know how that magic worked.
I don't know either.
It's amazing.
most communities that need dirt like that, somebody gets a pond done. Realistically, they get a pond done. And I've known counties that in 10 years, they've dug 10 different ponds in 10 different parts of the county. And that's where they get their dirt for their roads.
Yeah, no.
And see, we tried to go down there where Bob Lanford had. We drilled some holes and we dug some holes, and they tested it and said it had too much clay in it down there.
That area they-
That's down there behind that church where,
Greenwood.
C3?
they done clear cut.
Yep.
It was right there,
So you've already tested it, it was a no-go?
yeah.
So what are our next steps, Jason, on getting, some kind of, comprehensive road assessment program? That's what I'm calling it from now on.
So,
I'm good to remember how to say it.
CRA?
See,
P, crap.
Jason, and it's take a map, take a road map, county road map, and look at LMIG for the last 10 years and identify everything that's been done.
Overlay what's been done.
That
and
would
then
be
we start looking
wonderful.
at what are our priority roads next on the list? And then if there's any, connector roads in those, so that we don't work on one, skip a connector road of a half a mile or a quarter of a mile, and then work on 3 more, and we've gotten out of it.
That would be County Line Road, Sturt Road. There's a half a
Commissioner
mile
Vaughn,
paved
you don't get to
road
keep
and
throwing
then dirt
names
road.
out there that are in District 3.
Well, I'm serious. Am I right? There is no paved road except for
I wanna go back and get
4
my
miles
mile.
down the road, and then you got a piece of paved road that's a half a mile long.
You
And
talking
no
about
more-
county lines?
Yes.
I don't know why that got that way down there. I don't have a clue. That was done before I got here.
It's been like that for years and years. I mean, it's,
Yeah, the little
You-
paved section in the middle of 2 dirt roads, but you can come in.
and you're in the middle of
for
nowhere, and
U-turn?
it's,
Yeah,
No,
it's
it-
paved up to Union Hill. I mean, yeah,
and it's
Union
not
Hill
even
South.
paid up to Union Hill, is it?
yeah. It
Yeah,
stops right
Union
there.
Hill and then
Across
right
the
at,
bridge.
Bethlehem Church Road.
Right,
That's the only part of it that's paved.
yeah.
You have to travel dirt roads to
And
get
You got
there.
2 bridges right there you
Huh?
gotta go over.
Special interest project.
Well, you can come in off Baldwin County on paved, I believe.
On Union Hill?
Yeah, on Union Hill, you do.
Okay.
So I'm going to add to that. I think, you know, while we're doing the CRAP program, we get some citizen input because some citizens, I mean, I remember a time where we chip sealed a road and the citizens were angry with us. Like, don't touch our road. And we wasted money over there. And not everybody wants chip seal because if it's that, if we're saying, hey, we're going to put chip seal on it, and they're unhappy at that point, we have to make a decision, do we go to the next road? Because that road is actually okay, considering how long ago we did it, and then do we apply that money someplace else? Because again, not everybody wants their road paved, and here we are, paving a road.
Well, if you're gonna surface treat a road and leave it, you need to do a double level surface treatment and then fill it with fines. Because it takes about 80% of the noise out of it and it soaks up all that liquid asphalt that wants to bleed. It's night and day different. Then you don't wanna surface treat a road and leave it? No, I mean, you don't. All you're gonna do is have problems with it, and you're gonna have complaints. Cause it's gonna get in the grass and you're gonna have loose gravel in the grass and, but you take it, double surface treat it, take the fines, smooth it out. It's granite fines, it looks like sand, smooth it out and pack it. And it's night and day difference, the finish on the road is.
And durability doubles, time and a half, what? About the
I don't
same.
know. That I can't tell you. I've got some that, like your point about surface treatments, chip sealing,
I know there was a lot of damaged cars back
We-
in,
we probably
Today on
done
some roads.
35 miles in Bacon County in the last 7-8 years. I count on one hand number of windshields and damaged cars we've had.
if it's done right, like you
It's all
say.
about the contractor,
Right,
all of it.
exactly.
But all those roads there have held up and, you know, some of them have liquid natural gas trucks on them, some of them have dairy trucks. And then we had one this last time out of the blue, about 300 feet of it came apart, just came apart. It's up on a hill, ditches drained, it just come apart. We ended up going back, cutting it all out, packing it back and repaving it.
So when you get the map of what roads have been done, I think John brought this up, knowing who did those roads, you know, and how they have survived or degraded over the time that from the time that we started, it probably makes sense. So then we can develop a quality standard. And if a certain contractor has consistently deteriorating roads,
Well, you know, you have good and bad contractors that are either in business or out of business, and a lot of them are retired or passed on, so, you know, there's a lot of new people that need to be evaluated.
Sam mentioned something a long time ago, or maybe it was a little while ago, and I feel like it was a long time ago. With consolidation, resetting budgets back to zero, we know we've got more roads than we have money. And this may be that opportunity to start doing some internal house cleaning, so we can get our numbers back where they need to be, but also create the resources in the budget to do some of these roads. Because if Davis Road is the only road we could do, I think we're missing an opportunity on some other roads that could still prove to be hazardous.
You bring up a good point, Daylon, about funding, and it's an opportunity I brought up at the Regional Commission, meeting a couple weeks ago. We need to look at, possibly looking at the countywide T-Splosh for funding. 'Cause I know there's some counties around the state that fund their entire public works and paving budgets from the T-Splosh. I don't know if we could do it. I haven't studied it as far as financially, but from what I hear around the state, it is possible.
Yeah, it failed the last time,
And
right?
LMIG to it. We can take some of the roads that have been,
Failed twice.
Yeah.
Right, regional, if we do.
Okay.
but it's, because there's roads that have been on the list 50 years in Wendy's district,
That's a good segue.
so.
I'm gonna send my little list right now.
Okay.
I've been keeping this for several years now, just as I would think of road projects and things that might make good, single T-Splosh, projects. And so this is just kind of a running list, I don't know, as I've thought about different projects that, we struggle with the funding on, or things that I think would be interesting and appealing to the general public, I've just kind of added them to this list, and so I don't know if it's anything y'all would be interested in or not, but
Of course.
since Commissioner Wood mentioned it, I just thought I'd send that around.
You're ready, right?
Oh, yeah, he's been ready. He's been ready for a few weeks, huh?
When would the T-Splosh come back up again?
So now, it won't unless the region as a whole decides to do it again, or, I think what you've seen more often lately is just single counties doing a T-Splosh. And I think you do 5 years as a single county, so.
Yeah, so he was asking, I guess,
When can we put
when
it
can we
on?
do it?
Next election, I think.
Yeah, probably so. I don't know what all the advertising requirements are and everything. I can dig into that part and see if y'all want me to. But
I mean,
As
a lot
long
of
as-
people I've talked to said about the T-Splosh, if we get the money here, it was gonna go somewhere else.
And it was really,
More money. We had over $1 million was coming to this county just for to pave dirt roads.
Because of the bigger
One
county.
point a year. I think it's 1.1 or 1.2 million. If it would've, we, we had a lot of stuff for like the railroad spur and other things, but
Right.
just for public work, it went over $1 million a year, just for, you could use on, paving dirt road. And we we'd have reaped, Houston County, Bibb County would have been the ones that probably pay the bulk of it, and then our percentage, we're gonna reap about, I think 25% more than what we contributed, at the end of the day. It didn't miss it by what, 1,200 votes?
it was pretty close, yeah.
We worked on it for months.
Yeah, yeah.
I think if we advertise it right,
Education,
education.
the voters.
Yeah,
And get people on a committee to help understand what, this is our single county, this is for us here, that we would probably not have a hard time on getting that passed. Once they understand it affects everybody, and it benefits Jones County. But anybody that comes into Jones County helps pay for it.
right.
Right, the visitors help pay for it.
Yes.
So I like it. I'm going to ask that we also consider the host tax if we're going to start educating people. And that's that homestead sales tax that I'm sure.
But we can only do that, stands lost.
Well, might as well start talking about it. Because as a legitimate option, if homestead owners, property taxes could be exempt. You know, if lost negotiations went very far left, or it didn't make sense, when you tell a taxpayer, you know what, you may not have to pay your homestead taxes, the savings are tremendous. That's real money back in your pockets.
I was really interested in that when we talked about it a year or so ago, and I got looking into it. Our only issue with that is going to be, just looking at raw numbers of what our growth has been over the last 5 years, if we kept that steady growth, which is steady but deliberate, and it is growth, I don't know that we can with the infrastructure that we have without making huge investments. What the county's talking about doing now, but in the city as well. I don't know that we can offset, I mean, we're 75-25 rooftop right now. I don't know that we can offset the 75% of, I believe our budget will reduce a lot based on the sales tax that would have to make it up.
The lost is how much?
We have to have a significant commercial growth.
Instead of me trying to guess.
Retail, commercial, industrial, something. would
Right.
have to- commercial and retail would have to grow, sales tax wise,
2 million.
and then, you know.
2 million, we're talking $2 million.
Huh?
2 million? That's what the lost is right now.
2 million.
Mm-hmm.
What we need to look at is what is our taxes now from homeowner, or the taxes.
Property tax is 11.2 million.
So we gotta make up 11.2, we don't have to make up 2 million. We gotta make up the 11.2.
Right.
Sales tax, if we only got 2 now, we gotta get 5 times more taxes in sales than we got right now to even it out.
Yeah, I'm just talking about the subsidy aspect. I know we couldn't do 100% because we don't have the commercial. But again, as an option, still talk about it, because literally, if I had a choice, do I want my taxes to go to lost or to directly to my home? I would rather go to my house. And the 16,000 constituents.
Well, and if you're gonna sell to the public that you're hedging the taxpayers versus sales tax, then at some point you gotta do a pretty good evaluation of where we are now and what the taxes that you're getting, you're guaranteed getting from rooftop sales now. What are we guaranteed that or what have we historically done on sales tax? We know that future growth, so if we take it, just say if we're bringing in $1 million and we're reducing the homeowner's obligation by $1 million, we're breaking even. If we do that, knowing that we're gonna have growth on sales, then our current budget stays the same, but our future budgets increase based off sales. That's the smart growth that you talk about in the county, and it directly removes the burden from the homeowner and puts it on the others going through our community, that we're telling people, let everybody help pay for the roads that they're traveling on, not just the people that live here. That's a true offset to me. And I would think, you're gonna have people that say, no, not a T-Splosh no matter what, because that's just another sales tax. If you offset it with what they're already paying, with that sales tax, even with some future commitment to increase, then that's where you're getting buy-in, because you really are you're reducing my taxes on my house and putting it on whether I shop or not. That's a choice. You know, it's a choice one time to move here, and it ain't a choice every year after that to pay the taxes.
Is there anything else tonight on our road workshop?
I can't think of anything else.
So just so we're clear, we're still going to identify the roads. We're also going to set the standards based on DOT. Is that what I heard?
I think
Yeah.
that's the simplest thing to do.
Gotcha. And our process, and we'll work it out, is sealing what needs to be sealed and then going back with asphalt, right? And then for those that need base work, doing the base work or full depth reclamation, And then those actually would get an asphalt treatment first?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
And when you do full depth reclamation, you mix cement in it. Once you mix the asphalt, you're gonna mix 6 pounds a square yard
Okay.
per inch. So you're gonna mix it and have a soil cement base when you get through it.
Can we use one of those apps for, almost like we're reporting the pothole, report your road? You know, if you think it needs to be resurfaced, let's get some citizen input. Because again, I don't want to go down a road, no pun intended, that we don't need to go down. And then identifying how we actually build it into the budget if we're going to go to a reset, because it's March now, that gives department heads plenty of time to get prepared for that. So we can have those resources available, because I don't want to do all this and then we say, oh, well, we can't do it because we don't have the money. But we have to do it because the roads are in bad shape. And T-Splosh.
Is that it? Anyone else on the workshop tonight?
I make a motion to,
Judge.
adjourn, yeah, that verb.
For a second, I was waiting till you finished the
Second.
All in favor, aye?
It's been a long
Brain
week.
fart, it's okay.
It's been a long week.
And it's